it's the future Riverfront Park. It's that old gravel pit.
Yes, I keep saying.
Yeah.
That's been a
It's
work.
July 8th.
Future is just a lot.
Future park, whenever the city gets around to building a park, that's where it's gonna be. But see, that,
Streets, right?
several years ago, that was part of the CWMA, and then we just kept going with it with the ARA grant. But if you're interested, those are the dates.
This is for spraying.
Pardon me?
People come and help you spray.
To spray, depending on what area, sometimes we hand pull, but mostly we're in, and go in with backpacks and
Don't you
ATVs.
have to have a license to do that?
Well, not unless you're teamed up with somebody with a license.
Oh.
And we have, I have 4 UTVs, so if anybody's interested, contact the county, or me at the county weed department, and we'll get you on a list and help us with some of these projects. See, it's there are several agencies that come and help. Jim County, Boise County, so they drive all the way up here to help us spray weeds for the day. But we also go down to their counties and help Jim County there around, Sage Hen Reservoir. And we go to Lowman for a 2-day project to help out Boise County. So if anybody's interested.
It's fun now to go to all those different areas.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I haven't been to one up here, I don't think.
July 9th, we'll call. July,
It's July 8th. That.
oh,
Cascade Reservoir.
September 9th.
That means July 7th.
and then we hit Cascade Lake twice. We hit it in the spring, and usually that focuses on the spotted knapweed, and then we hit it again in the fall, more of a Canada thistle. And that's the pastures around Hazard Creek, clear up to around French Creek.
What's on the middle for?
The Middle Fork, well, we see mostly rush skeleton all around the Middle Fork. And usually we don't get a lot of participation with that. Boise County, they come up from the Boise County side, and we come up from the Valley County side, and we usually just kind of meet in the middle. But that's one that we don't get a lot of participation just because it's kind of out of the way, I think, for most of the folks. But that one, that was another one that's more of kind of a maintenance mode, because we go half the day without even seeing a weed. And then, we're finding little patches here and there, but, so now we drive in for 2 hours and work our way out.
There's no better way to learn a weed than to go out and spray it or pull it all day.
Yeah.
You'll never forget that. Or Houndstone.
Lord Houndstone.
So I got a quick question. So my wife's also, she's licensed to spray and stuff. She works at Brian's. But she goes down to these classes in Boise, and there's a lot of ranchers down there being licensed. Are they volunteering to do that because they just want to take care of their land? Or is there a requirement, a law, or an expectation in the state that they have to keep their land clean?
Yeah, there is a state law that is the homeowner's responsibility.
Even a little person like in McCall?
Everybody. It's your responsibility to control noxious weeds on your own property. And through the state law, it gives the counties the authority to come in for enforcement. So if we go in, notify, or find some noxious weeds on your property, if you don't take care of them, it don't matter how you do it. You can pull it, you can spray it, you can graze it. But if you don't, by law, then we can go in and spray it and then give you a bill for it. Or if you call us for assistance, we'll come in and help you with no charge. Which brings us to part of this. We also have a cost share program through the Department of Ag and the Forest Service for funding that they give us funding to purchase chemicals that we give out free of charge to the private homeowners. And then I also have backpacks and ATV sprayers that you can, and pull behind sprayers for bigger lots that you can come in and to take care of your own weeds.
Chemicals that you don't need to have a license.
Right.
Right. But all the counties have different laws, or, like Washington County, Valley County?
Well, it's all under the state's
It's all-
noxious weed
It's all
law.
under the, okay.
In turn, the state then listens to the counties if they want to, if they're seeing something out there that should be added to this. So this last year we had purple and Iberian star thistle that was first detected in Twin Falls County. And they came to us and said, hey, we found this, and then we put it through our system and put it on the list. Therefore, that then they could go and do something on the ground, because if it's on the list, it's not on the law.
Right.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
dandelion, for example, is common, you know, yard plant, everybody knows dandelion. We can't use caution, don't want to spray it just because frankly it's not on the list, so,
Right.
that's kinda how that's,
Yeah, somebody can't contact me to spray buttercup, because it's not on the list. There are several ranchers in the area that wants us to put, buttercup, and it's a crow's foot buttercup that's invading. You see some of the fields that just solid yellow, almost looks like it's infested with dandelions. It's the buttercup, and that's a really invasive plant up here. It's not poisonous. I think there's a lot of food value in it, but it does take a lot away from the grazing.
So what about the bugs, like the leafy spurge beetle? Is there a funding for that?
Well, yeah, most of the bugs we get through the Nez Perce File Control Center.
Oh, you get it through Nez Perce?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got some literature on that?
Yeah.
And then, of course, with Joey Milan,
yeah.
with
Some of
the,
those guys, they'll go clear to Montana, Oregon, wherever they gotta go to go get bugs and just to bring it back and
Yep.
then redistribute them.
yeah, I'm on the list. They ask me every year how many releases we need, and total, I think I've ordered like 25 releases through spotted knapweed, leafy spurge. We actually did a release on Canada thistle here in the park years ago with the gullfly. Can't remember exactly the location, but we did a bug release here too.
Some of those bugs you gotta be careful, because if you wanna buy them, and then you buy them for $1 a bug, you know, and then turn to come out, you go out for the infestation, you already have them on site, so, you know, they're a company trying to sell bugs. And, or you can ask your neighboring county, and like what Steve's doing, he'll go over to the next county and take his sweep necks and get bugs for free, well, labor, but, and fuel, but that's pretty cheap compared to what these guys are selling their bugs for.
Right, yeah, a bug or two of these.
Yeah.
Bug.
Yeah, and sometimes it's kind of a crapshoot whether they'll get established. You know, because where you collect them, it should be pretty close, the same climate, the soil type, and that kind of thing to get them established. And it's usually might take even several years of releases to get them going. So that's why I wouldn't want to go out and spend a couple $1,000s on insects if they're not going to establish here. But we've had pretty good luck so far.
Definitely a tool.
Yeah. I remember visiting my sister-in-law down in St. George, Utah, where they've got salt cedar, tamarisk. There's a real big problem there. But when the time we visited, the control bugs were like, they just went wild. You could go outside and they'd just cover you.
Wow.
It was amazing.
I'm gonna take the cameras thing, you know.
That would be good.
We finally got him down the strike, I think. We got him.
All
So
right.
the seagulls out.
Well, and as a resource to you guys, I believe you can use this Idaho the invasive-species.idaho, and it will feed you through to an invasive species interactive list that
Oh,
shows
that's
pictures, and it gives you a tiny little bit of information, and that's gonna cover invasives, aquatic invasive plants, and so that way you guys know what are on the list.
Yeah, there's also a link on our county website, the noxious weed.
I know we don't have it here, but from all my firefighting days, cheatgrass, is there anything that can ever be done with cheatgrass?
Well, yeah, there is. Won't burn, it just kind of stimulates the
Doesn't do
seed.
it.
Yeah.
At a certain time of year it does.
It does sometimes?
It'll burn up the seed and
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there's a couple things, grazing, you can graze it early in the
Time of
season.
year, it's probably easier to get rid of it than other times of year.
Yeah, actually, if chemically treated, I've had luck using plateau in the fall, because it's a winter annual, so it's more of a pre-emergent. So you put that plateau, and you gotta be real careful, you don't use a surfactant with it, just the chemical. And then you'll get a pretty good kill rate in the spring. But you apply it on the fall before it snows.
Oh, so there's a solution it's starting to
There,
evolve.
there can, even if you disturb the soil, And then what it does, it like what I tell the people I'm working with, you till it or whatever, disturb the soil, and then twice as many seeds will germinate, and then you spray it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do that because cheatgrass, the seed's only gonna last, was it a year or two?
Yeah, it's pretty short.
Yeah, really
Very
short.
thin, and they,
Depending on how hard, how big an area you got. Plateau works really well on, plateau actually works good on the leafy spurge in the fall growth. Because it draws it down to the root
So
system.
that's the name of the chemical
Yeah,
plateau?
plateau, yeah. I can't remember the chemical name off the top of my head,
I
but
think it's a mix of,
I just know it's plateau.
I don't remember.
But I got a small patch in my yard where I'm actually, since it's a small patch, I'm just trying to weed eat it. Because if you get it right when it sets seed before the seed becomes viable, you just but you got to keep after it, especially if it cools down and rains again and it starts popping.
It's hard to do.
Yeah.
I don't have a garden. They know it's supposed to see.
Yeah.
So all this spraying was determined by trial and error.
Pretty much, a lot of smart people testing the chemicals. See, that's one thing we do too, we rotate our chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
We don't use the same
Same one
mix.
every time? Oh.
Yeah, because it will build up a resistance to it, and then it's not effective. So if you, every couple of years, we change different modes of transport, whether, brings it up to the roots, or, so yeah, every 2 or 3 years, we mix it up. Or these combinations of chemicals, like open site has 2 different chemicals and 2 different modes of action, so the plants are less likely to build up a resistance to it.
And to get it to work properly, you need to mix it properly. Because if you do the glug method,
Oh,
you
yeah.
might get not enough or too much, depending on the chemical.
throw money on the ground.
And if you don't get enough, that can help build that resistance. And then if you get too much, rather than just killing the broadleafs, it might kill everything.
And you figure, 7 ounces is good, 14 is better. No, it's
But then
that way.
it could
Now you gotta
sterilize.
follow the label.
Yes,
Yeah.
and calibration of your equipment too. You gotta know what you're putting on the ground so you know how to mix it. That's crucial. That's the first thing we do
Yeah.
in the spring, and we do it a couple of times during the season. Because as the nozzles wear, you're putting more product on the ground, so yeah, you calibrate it, you dial it in, you even change your mixes throughout the season. Even changing the pressure. If you're got it calibrated at 30 PSI and you somehow bumped up to 50, you've just you're off label. You put more on the ground than what you needed.
So that tansy ragwort, well, it's all around, the farmer's market, huge, big stands of it, and all around
I
the
think-
parking area down
Well, most
there.
of what I seen I thought was common tansy.
And so that's different.
Yeah, that's different. Common tansy is more of a native plant.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tansy ragwort is on the noxious weed list, but they got the same name, but they're totally different plants.
Oh, that's good.
But we do have tansy ragwort that I've seen. It's actually over by Tamarack, in that subdivision just south of Tamarack.
Oh, good, I'm glad.
Some-
You like tansy ragwort?
No, I like the other.
Oh, common tansy. Yeah, it's all over Donley. It's everywhere in Donley. But it's actually, of course, a lot of people try to spray it because it's very invasive. It'll take over areas, choke out other plants.
It's obnoxious.
Yeah, it's very obnoxious.
Well, I think we're out of time, aren't we?
Yeah,
I
Or
think
is
so.
there any more
Yeah.
questions?
Yep.
It's very interesting. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. You guys came all the way
Yeah, that was
from
great,
Boise.
thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this is awesome to do.
I love
Like,
virtual
this is
meetings.
what, yeah. This is how we make a difference.
Hopefully you can hang out for a while and, or break back.
Yeah.
Something. Oh, and I have presents, if I can find them.
Yeah.
Go home and tell your friends. That's why we do it to school kids, because then they go home and tell your parents.
They love to tell you.
Talking to my older last summer. or last-
Yeah, I think,
I don't know what,
I think
last
I'll tell
summer.
my son.
They kept telling me